India, 100% subsidiary of FEV Germany, a global leader in powertrain design and development, powertrain and vehicle calibration, powertrain validation, vehicle integration, and test facility development. Formed in 1978 and headquartered in Aachen, Germany, the FEV Group is focused towards sustainable contributions to the design and development of advanced automotive powertrains and alternative propulsion systems. Started as a small team of 4 engineers, the company has grown phenomenally with over 3,000 employees, 175 test cells, 7 regional engineering centers and numerous local representative offices in more than 15 countries. Since 2006, FEV India is taking this formidable legacy forward through its state-of-the-art technical center located at Talegaon, Pune. The Pune facility boasts of in-depth know-how and capabilities in the entire product development life cycle for powertrain. CAD, CAE, NVH services backed by latest softwares. Performance and emission, functional and mechanical testing and engine validation, vehicle and engine calibration, benchmarking of engines including strip-down friction measurement, process and production engineering, value engineering, test systems for engines, transmissions and hybrid powertrains. In the area of test systems, FEV India offers planning and consulting services, turnkey solutions, service and maintenance support. FEV's customer list is studded with prestigious names from India. FEV India continuously monitors satisfaction of its customers and is proud to have always exceeded customer expectations, leading to long-term partnership. FEV India focuses on enriching quality of human life. FEV promotes and cares for its employees' work-life balance by providing a congenial work environment. Employees at FEV are dynamic, highly qualified, committed, experienced, and inspired by the dream of working with FEV. The future is beckoning. Ambitious and aggressive plans are on the anvil, including prospective CAE and vehicle testing centers. Driving vision, powering values, embedding trust. FEV India is surging ahead, turning every innovation into reality.
Values are important just to have a worldwide standard, how we deal, how we treat each other, how we work together, not only among each other but also with the clients. If you're aware of them, you can much more consciously live the values, and also if you make them aware, you can agree on the common values that are important.
没有 value， 没有价值，那么企业很难成长，很难存活。
From my perspective, being in business development, customer focus is the strongest value that FEV has. Caring for the customer, showing that customer that you're there for them from the very first time you meet that customer and shake their hand, all the way through project delivery.
aber auch wenn wir im Team zusammenspielen, muss eine gewisse Professionalität an den Tag gelegt werden, damit die Sachen funktionieren, damit die ineinander greifen, damit man Übergaben vernünftig machen kann, damit das Arbeiten funktioniert und das Projekt halt vernünftig abgearbeitet werden kann.
Commitment is something that comes from within. We all take unwritten commitment that we will do whatever we can to research, to endeavor, to find out what the best solutions or the best methods are to get to the end.
开放就是我的理解就是可以去容纳其他人不同的想法，你有你的观点，别人有别人的观点。那么如何呢？你呢去容纳其他的，静下心来去听别人的观点，容纳别人的观点，最终再找一个呢最好的一个方案。
Le respect, c'est donner à chacun la position qu'il a. L'entreprise, c'est comme un puzzle où chacun est un carreau du puzzle. Et le respect, c'est de dire à chacun, oui, tu es important, oui, la position que tu as est importante pour l'entreprise.
Wir sind immer am Puls der Technik. Wir sind immer ganz vorne, was die Automobilindustrie angeht.
This isn't just a job. It's family. It's making sure that you are comfortable, you're with family, and you progress together.
Simulation. Over the past 5 decades, the most innovative companies in the world have embraced this incredible tool, enabling them to create smaller, faster, more sophisticated products in record time, providing a clear, competitive advantage. But simulation has only scratched the surface of what's possible. Once again, engineering is poised for a new era of innovation. And once again, simulation is making it possible. In this new world, simulation is quickly becoming pervasive across the engineering enterprise. Pervasive, accessible, and simple to use for every engineer. In this new world, ANSYS is helping to fuel a radical shift in product ideation, design, manufacturing, operations, and soon even embedding simulation solutions into the product itself. Our next generation simulation tools provide real-time feedback early in the design process. This new technology gives ANSYS users the insight they need to innovate at the speed of their own imagination, a capability entirely new to the product design world. Using ANSYS solutions for additive manufacturing, engineers will see products and their parts mass-produced to exacting specifications never before achievable. Only the power of simulation will be able to discover these incredible opportunities, fueling the rapid adoption of additive manufacturing. Driven by pervasive engineering simulation, digital twins will become commonplace as simulation expands beyond the product development stage and into the operations and ongoing performance of many systems, including becoming integral to the product itself. In this new world, the ANSYS vision of pervasive engineering simulation will unlock trillions of dollars in new efficiencies, new value, and new markets. And it all starts today. Not just enabling, but empowering all engineers to innovate like never before, to predict the future performance of their products with complete confidence, to realize the promise of a better tomorrow.
Ashok Leyland welcomes you to the new era of transportation in India. On a unique range of electric vehicles with the latest technology, built for India, in India, by Indians. Ashok Leyland's electric vehicle technologies work with several types of batteries and chargers that suit different individual needs. The Circuit F with NMC type of batteries charge up over a couple of hours and are ideal for providing up to 200 kilometers of uninterrupted operations throughout the day. For more frequent trips, the Circuit S with swapping technology allows depleted batteries to be replaced with charged ones. For daily operations that require frequent stops and lesser stop times, Ashok Leyland Circuit H offers special LTO type batteries paired to ultra-fast chargers that charge up the vehicle in a flash. With Ashok Leyland, move to the future of transportation by directly purchasing electric buses and chargers, or through Ashok Leyland's convenient e-MaaS program. With our e-MaaS offering, we will operate and maintain your fleet of electric buses at a competitive rate per kilometer. With cutting-edge technology, we bring a complete EV solution optimized for your business needs. As you focus on providing high-quality passenger service and safety, we offer our expertise to ensure your business grows with the latest technology. A one-stop package for EV solutions, operations and maintenance, which employs the best EV technology. e-MaaS is a partner you can trust. As a partner, Ashok Leyland would help you in exploiting the full potential of various EV technologies by lending expertise through a vast network of touchpoints and dealerships spread throughout India. So come, be a part of a promising journey that will make both the environment and your business prosper on Ashok Leyland's electric vehicles and e-mobility solutions. Ashok Leyland, aapki jeet, hamari jeet.
FEV was established in 1978 with a vision to make powertrains more efficient and to reduce their emissions. I'm proud to say that 40 years later, many FEV innovations went into production, and FEV is still expanding its technological leadership. From its start with 4 colleagues, FEV has grown to an organization with more than 5,000 innovators, working with passion to deliver solutions for our customers around the globe. These smart minds are driving our success, helping FEV to develop and implement clean and optimized mobility solutions for us and the generations to come.
To evolve in sync with the change. To stand up to dynamic market realities. Innovation is our stimulus of growth. Turning innovation into reality is our passion. We are FEV India, 100% subsidiary of FEV Germany, a global leader in powertrain design and development, powertrain and vehicle calibration, powertrain validation, vehicle integration, and test facility development. Formed in 1978 and headquartered in Aachen, Germany, the FEV Group is focused towards sustainable contributions to the design and development of advanced automotive powertrains and alternative propulsion systems. Started as a small team of 4 engineers, the company has grown phenomenally with over 3,000 employees, 175 test cells, 7 regional engineering centers, and numerous local
the number might be looking a bit small, but I can assure you that they will reach out to each and every media that is available here in Guwahati. So sir, we would like to have your views basically on the entire conclave that's taking place today. Besides that, IIT Guwahati's association with that. Maybe IIT Guwahati, whether IIT Guwahati is in a position to contribute towards the development of electric mobility in the country. And is there any chance of IIT Guwahati becoming a hub for the activity? Besides that, sir, they also have certain queries regarding, electric vehicles or the hybrid vehicles so far. The cost is actually a bit prohibitive for the common person. Now, will it be possible for a common person to aspire for a hybrid or an electric vehicle in the future? So those are the queries, and any other queries, sir, they will be putting that forward to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Lavanda. This conclave jointly organized by IIT Guwahati and Autocar Professional on the theme of electric mobility. In fact, this has been a fruition of a plan which has been on for about, 2 years between Dr. Praveen Kumar and me. And so we are very glad that we could successfully host the conclave today on the theme of building a nationwide EV ecosystem, opportunities in the Northeast. And beside me is a gentleman who is representing a major vehicle manufacturer, which is already working with IIT Guwahati. So I would hand over the mic to Dr. Seshu Bhagavatulla, CTO of Ashok Leyland, to say a few words.
Yeah, thank you, Sumantra. Let me take up one after one the questions you put. There are many questions in one. The first one you said is, can Northeast and Guwahati become the center of this electric vehicle revolution that's taking place? You know, people don't recognize that you're already a big player. Seen from the rest of the country, you're so far away, but I can already see today there are more than 200 people here. There's so much of interest. And you know, we had to come all the way from Chennai to Guwahati to work with Professor Praveen for our electric vehicle architecture project. So this is a big one, and I can imagine that this particular project that we do with him will pave the way for a big set of platforms that we will develop in the many, many years to come. So this is a fundamental part of our electric vehicle strategy, which is coming from IIT Guwahati. So you are already the center. That's one. The second one is what you said, you know, Northeast has its own specific characteristics. One of them being that you're nature-wise much more beautiful than the rest of the country. And you also have the other thing that you're electricity-wise, you're very independent. if electrification were to start in this country, the best place would be here, because you probably can have your own infrastructure better done than elsewhere in India. So that's second one. Third one is, I think with the starting that is now happening between the education institution, the industry, and also naturally helping hand from the journalism, I think there has to be a new ecosystem coming up. You have to develop an ecosystem here. And I've heard a wonderful presentation talk from our neighbor who was a pioneer in electric vehicles. Now he said a few things that were absolutely important. It took for him almost 10 years to establish, and I can imagine maybe it's time now for the next generation of things to come up. And I don't see any reason why this region cannot develop, because it has education institutions, it has the right kind of innovation, innovators and entrepreneurs. I think the combination already exists here.
Dr. Praveen Kumar, a couple of words from you on this association.
So, yeah, from the IIT Guwahati representative, first of all, I would like to thank all these sponsors and Autocar professional for organizing this conclave over here. And I would like to say that, yes, the e-mobility lab that we have in the EEE department, it was a very small step 9 years back. But now I gather that, yes, we are getting recognized throughout the country among all other established older IITs than us. So we are competing well, and all the gentlemen are here to collaborate with us. I think that's a proof enough that we are on the right track, and the research track that we have taken is something which is relevant for the industry. So I'm pretty sure that in 5-10 years down the line, we would be a powerful force to reckon with in this area of electric vehicles and e-mobility. That's for sure.
And I think about electric mobility when it comes to this region of Northeast, Assam has already taken some steps, and it has already conducted some pilot projects of electric intra-city buses, and as I understand, has plans to also deploy intra-city electric buses. So I think Assam has already taken some steps, and I believe the other states are also having some plans. And in fact, the nationwide EV ecosystem is an absolutely crucial thing to take place for mass-scale electric mobility to succeed in India. And Ayush, quick thoughts from you as an OEM, as a vehicle manufacturer representative here.
So, very rightly said, like we have already shared our views as far as like IIT Guwahati has come across in helping and developing a technology for electric vehicles. We have OEMs like Ashok Leyland, and we are coming together to develop and take step further as far as the entry-level two-wheelers and three-wheelers are concerned. What I like to add on what is further shared is that Guwahati can be definitely a hub for this, because rest of the places we are fighting for basic things. We are already seeing that pollution level has reached to a certain height, so we need to rectify that. Why I am saying and encouraging Guwahati here is so that at least we can conserve the basic nature which is actually prevalent here right now. So let us save and conserve and make it a hub also as a northeast hub, because from here only you tend to connect to rest of the northeast, whether you talk about Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram, all those areas we can connect from here. So if we can make that hub in IIT, we are sharing that information to rest of the 7 states in that area. So this is very important, and definitely I think we have a right mix. And after coming to IIT campus, I really feel I'm so amazed till now that I have not come out of it. So I sitting in Delhi, we don't know like what we are missing, frankly speaking. So we definitely need to conserve this, and it's better we take the step from this area.
Harshad, your thoughts on this conclave and electric mobility as a whole?
It's really an exciting moment for me. I'm myself an IITian, and for me, any IIT, anyone in India has huge potential. And especially, I really appreciate how IIT Guwahati is doing this. I have been here before for recruitment. So there are few ingredients that are essential to create this as a hub. First ingredient is talent and skill, and I think that is available plenty. There is no question. IIT Guwahati is already a big brand in terms of talent. The second ingredient is very passionate, driven professors who are not only R&D oriented and doing research, but turning it to technology and something that is more practical for India. And I really thank Praveen Kumar for this kind of initiatives. He's not only doing these events, but behind the scenes there are a lot of consortiums, hardware, software, subsystems being developed, which are of practical use to the industry. So this is a huge step forward. And the third, I would say, I'm not sure if it's there yet, but the third ingredient for Guwahati to become the hub is going to be startups, entrepreneurs. So if there is an innovation hub already, then that should be utilized to promote more electric mobility type of entrepreneurship. Thank you.
Again, sir, the price level is very high. When it is been even possible for common people to buy this kind of products? Time duration, 5 years, 6 years.
You know, it's very difficult to put a timeline to it. But people talk about 2025, if you just want some year. They believe that by 2022, once we are well settled with BS6 is April 2020, 2 years later, you will start seeing more and more things happening. So by 2022, you will see the beginning. By 2025, we should be achieving a kilowatt hour per dollar, a dollar number for people talk about maybe $120, $150, and that's where you will see a mass utilization of electric vehicles. So 2025.
Let me add something to that. I think you are asking the right question that when will electric vehicle become affordable to a common man? And that's a relevant question. But even before that, I think we have to ask this question that who is going to own the vehicle? That itself is changing. If you look at fleet management like Ola and Uber, you are already seeing a new paradigm where the common man is not owning the vehicle anymore. And if you hear through this conclave, I think there's a lot of data points where it's very, very evident that the electrification will be first adopted for the commercial vehicles rather than common man buying a vehicle. And that's actually much more needed for a country like India, where we have dense population in few cities. We absolutely need a much better public transport, affordable and clean.
And again, if you want to rank IIT in this process, your numbers for this innovation.
You cannot rank just like that, but I can tell you IIT Guwahati is as good, meanwhile, as any other IIT in these modern technologies. So, I can't see any difference at all anymore. Oh yeah, okay. India has a disadvantage because we do not have the raw materials needed for batteries. Now, it looks like China has an advantage, and a few other countries have advantage, not many, and all the others are parasites. They're dependent on these countries. So, as long as we have this lithium-ion technology, the nickel, manganese, cobalt technology people talk about, as long as that is going to be the main set of ingredients for batteries, we will be dependent on those 2-3 countries that have access to the raw materials. But then, let's say, there are chances that we will go to altogether new materials in the very near future. Right now, in the research labs, there are people working on very, very different materials. If they win one day and they become industrialized, I can imagine India may have a chance. Until then, we will have to rely on securing our raw material supply chain, but concentrate on making maybe cells, maybe battery packs, and more on the application side. That's what I believe we still can do quite a bit. And one day, as I said, quite possibly there will be alternative materials that we may have a chance.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's a great pleasure for all of us to have your presence over here, sir. Thank you once again. Have a very good day to all of you. Thank you.
2 more presentations, followed by a panel discussion on the theme of building a nationwide EV ecosystem opportunities in the Northeast, which is also the theme of today's conclave. It's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Abhinandan Kumar, Zonal Manager, East and Northeast Zone of Hero Electric, the leaders in electric two-wheelers in India. Abhinandan has been working with Hero Electric since March 2011. He takes care of the entire business operations, which is sales and business development, network development, service, customer care, legal, and so on for the designated zone. With an experience of over 14 years, both in electric vehicles as well as in banking, investment, and insurance industry, Abhinandan brings with him a rich experience. So without any further ado, Abhinandan, the stage is yours now.
Thank you. Thank you, Sumantra. As already briefed about my profile. However, post-lunch, I would like to thank all of you for coming again. And I, Abhinandan Kumar, as a Zonal Manager, Hero Electric, do welcome all of you on behalf of Hero Electric and SMEV family. In next few slides, I would like to take you to the journey of electric vehicles in India and Hero Electric 10-11 year experiences. So in 2000 year, we started conceptualizing this product to launch in India. And by 2003, we launched first electric cycle, which was fitted with battery. And in 2007, we launched full-fledged electric two-wheeler scooter. Since then, manufacturing and selling product things is continuously and going on. In 2009, we founded a member of a society called SMEV, that stands for Society of Manufacturer of Electric Vehicle in India. In 2010, successfully represented to the government of India for 25% of subsidy. You must have heard the government is providing incentives, that we started doing that in 2010. And in 2011, we acquired Ultra Motor. It was based at UK. And we introduced our product into the European market as well. In 2012, resumed full operational control of A2B and F4W from Ultra Motor Limited. This is a product which we used to sell in European market and some US and Canada market. Since 2015, the Modi government launched FAME scheme, FAME 1. The industry and the sales and the companies started growing. Many companies have started coming in. Every year, we are growing in double fold since 2015-16. In 2007, we introduced first lithium range vehicle, which we were talking, many of the participants were talking about the lithium ion product. We are already 2.5 years old in lithium ion vehicles. I will take you other things in coming slides. It's our ultra modern manufacturing facility based at Ludhiana, where we can produce 500 vehicles on daily basis as of now. These are the four products which we do have at present. We do have actually 10 products, but we are talking currently as of now high advanced technology, that is lithium ion only. So we are giving you only 4 product detail. It's a Nix E5 Li. Second one is Optima E5. Third one is Flash E5, and fourth one is Photon. So the first 3 product, Optima, Flash, and Nix, is entry level high-speed segment that Ayush sir was talking about, the entry-level product, that customer can avail this product as of now or not. So we have already launched such kind of product with the variety and the attractive colors and technologies as well. One product which we have a photon, it is a speed of 45 km/h. What we used to say in automotive industry, that any product which is running up to the level of 25 km/h, it will be called as a low speed vehicles. 25 to 40, we can say it's entry level, and above 45 anything is called high speed vehicles. About the Hero Electric presence in India, you can see there India, we are present across the India. We do have 450 branches, dealers network and sub-dealers. Even in Northeast zone, we do have currently 10 branches available across the 4 states like Assam, Tripura, Manipur and Nagaland. So we are growing here all in every 2 month of span, we are adding 1 channel partner. Right? We do have a team also there in Northeast to handle and take care of all the customers and things. One of the pictures shows that the kind of dealership we do have as of now, even is much better. We do have facility and infrastructure. So EDUV, we talk about that. This is the high-end product. That's why it is being sold only on European market as of now. In India, it will cost much costlier. About the Society of Manufacturers of Electric Vehicles, working closely with the government and the industry for the last 9 years. SMEV member strength as of now is 26. There are 3-wheeler also, company in this team. Share of business, you can see the Hero Electric has the 65. Other company, Ampere 2%, Avon 3, Tonbal 3, Okinawa, Romai, Oreva and Electrotherm is having the second largest proportion, is at 13%. Many more companies are coming and many more about to come. Subsidy scheme, what we can say, as a SMEV was formed in 2009. First year subsidy scheme was launched in 2010, and 2012 government withdrew the subsidy. So the industry has seen in last 11 years many ups and downs. So sometimes incentive do come, sometimes it's being withdrawn. And again, you can see 2015, Modi government announced the subsidy, which was huge and good enough that gave the boom to the industry. And again, in 2018 September, it was withdrawn and was given only to the selected models. That is high speed and lithium. High speed lithium only, not any lead acid batteries or low speed segment. So again, a slowdown has been started, but it will pick up again very quickly. About the total sales and volume in electric vehicle in India, we have to see very carefully. It's about 25 electric buses has been sold under the scheme, FEV scheme, about 7,000 4-wheeler and 4,75,000 of electric 2-wheelers. 3-wheeler, it is about 17,50,000. So we can say we do have produced more than 2 billion product in India, units in India. About the brief detail about the this 2-wheeler and 3-wheeler, total 4,75,000 of units which were sold in India. Out of them, there were 10,000 high speed, 4,65,000 was low speed. It was lithium 200 is coming back. That time lithium was, because of cost consciousness, it was not acceptable. But the things has been changed now. A total EV, you will say 3-wheeler, it has huge market also. 17,50,000, out of which FAME scheme was only given through 300 products. So FAME is very selective on 3-wheelers. They are giving only few selected product subsidies, right? When we talk about the electric vehicle, we cannot spare China, because China is the again the base company who do produce electric vehicle, the biggest company, the biggest supplier, and has the reach worldwide. We started taking the data from 2013, where China has produced 25 million product units. That means 2 crore 15 from all the IIT and other institutions, technical institutions, the powertrain efficiency, optimization, and affordable cost. That is motor, controller, charger, and 1 battery also, because battery costing 40% of the cost of the vehicle. That is the most important part. Entire world is talking about the battery, and entire India as of now talking about the charger, because charger failure is very high. Despite of all the constraint keeping aside, we are working many things, industry and companies are working. You can see, because see, the major parts coming from the China. China manufacturing of the product is at their climate. उनके हिसाब से बना होता है, but वो हमारे China does not have that heat temperature of 48-50 degree, but in India it's usual. Voltage fluctuation we do have huge, because of that charger failure is very high. Even battery से ज़्यादा charger failure है. That's why we have to consider, we have to take care कि कैसे how we have to increase the charger efficiency, and the motor also. Motor failure is no, oscillatory is a point decimal we can say, but the cost of the motor is very high. Similarly, about to the battery level. Second, we have to think that we have many of the panel had discussed about the battery renting scheme that have to think upon. We do have to take care of also that. And the third one is smart connected scooter sharing. As of now, the expectation of the customers is increasing. They are expecting more technology advanced thing. The fourth one, as Ayush sir has already talked about the retail financing. I will put another thing, inventory funding. As of now, none of the company is interested to finance the electric vehicle dealerships to increase their funding. So company and dealers both are struggling to get the funding, and it is required from the institution to give the finance. The good thing that we have already got a collaboration with the SDFC, one of the largest financing company, to finance the customer vehicle, to the retail vehicle. Across India, we have got the tie-up. So second is inventory funding, that is required, and not only the SDFC, but many other company is required to come into that. The fifth one, the customer concerns that if I purchase the vehicle, how it will be serviced. Either I have to go to the only one dealerships, he will service, or what I have to do if the vehicle fail outside. So company as a Hero Electric has taken this initiative on starting training the local personal garage owners and technicians to service the vehicle. As already sir talk about the puncture करने के लिए भी हमें भेजना पड़ता था या training देनी पड़ती थी. So now already we company has started. We have trained in Pune and many other places 300 garages in one day. Basic things how we have to solve the issue, basic issue. The next is area of focus with the government, that none of the industry or company in India or any other world can grow without the government intervention or government support. As you can see in 2050, with the subsidy of the government or incentive, the company started growing, or industry started growing double-fold every year. So setting of SEG for manufacturing of electric vehicle is required. Government as of now is talking that we will electrify the automotive segment by 2030, or some has started about talking about the 2040, but how? आज मुझे सपना आया, कल को start नहीं होगा. We have to set the things in line. You have to make the SEZ, you have to make the facility available, you have to make the, India is a very big country. As this is one of the logistic concern. We are manufacturing in Ludhiana, we have to come to here in Assam, 2,000 kilometer travel, and then we have to again go to the upper part of the Assam, 2,500 kilometer to sell the vehicle. So per vehicle, the huge cost will be of the transportation, right? Second one is regularization of incentive. Sometime government do comes, give the incentive, another government comes, they do withdraw. So the industry is absolutely in ups and down modes. The company is always in fear that I don't know if I do produce many vehicles, considering the future, what will happen if the government changes the rules? In the government only there are two people, both are talking two things. So government has to regularize the incentive, or whatever the scheme they do have to fixed for the another 5 year or 10 year. Setting and supporting R&D facility. As of now, very few player in electric vehicle segment, and it is required to more research and experiments to be done electric vehicles. The government support is required on that type also. Benefit in taxation and norms. As we were expecting at the time of GST launching that government will give us either 0% tax benefit, or it will come to the 5 or 6%. But it did not happen. It was putting on 18%. After the lot of fighting, it was reduced up to the 12%. But it is required, it is a nascent industry, nascent phase. It is required a support from the government. Including that, for the customer, so why customer will buy the electric vehicle? He does not require, why to be concerned for the environment? he has to take care of his pocket. So government has to give the subsidy, or the incentive or discount and taxation benefit to the individuals also, that if you buy a product, you will get certain amount of tax benefit in your income. Quick implementation of policy and procedure. Government to make the policy and procedure, and it prolonged for the many years. Like 2010, it was first time introduced subsidy, and 2012 it withdrawal, and it took another 3 years to relaunch the FAME 1. So these are the things that are required. All of us can understand about the pollution concern. Every day is one of the biggest news in news channels. It's the data of Delhi. The recommended is 60 and the prevailing is 300. So what kind of concern we do have, we can think. And the liability on the government side from the for the buying of the import of crude oil, that is, you can see the $183 million, and foreign exchange billion is $112 billion. So thank you for the patient learning. Patient listening. Thank you.
I would request you to be on stage, and Dr. Kumar, I would request you to please come and felicitate Abhinandan Kumar. Thank you, Dr. Kumar. Thank you very much, Abhinandan. A comprehensive view of the electric vehicle market in India, and within that, the two-wheeler segment. Indeed, interesting times ahead for the electric two-wheeler segment as well. And if I'm not wrong, you projected about 40 million is going to be the industry size by 2030. So that's a huge figure. Well, now our next speaker is Mr. Kiran Challapalli. Kiran is the IBM Watson Technical Sales Leader and Client Solution Architect. He's responsible for working with clients of various industries to help them understand and identify use cases and build solutions using IBM Watson AI platform services. He has over 18 years of experience in the areas of software development, IT strategy, architectures, analytics, databases, SOA, and cognitive computing. Kiran holds a master's in computer science from Northern Illinois University, and he has 2 patents, 3 more pending, and a few publications. Kiran, over to you.
Should I give it now? I don't have a pen right now. Yeah. What kind? Okay. All right. यहीं पे लगा दो? ये slip हो जाएगा शायद. Sorry. Actually आपको email कर देना था. I hope this thing works. Hi, good afternoon everyone. Can you guys hear me? Do we need the mic? You're good, right? Okay. Always a tough thing to go after so many good speakers, and especially somebody with the background of the industry. I don't have the background of the industry. Somebody, I think Professor Dr. Who was the second person? He was talking about some complex formulas introduction came along, I come from IT background. I have been dabbling around with AI for the last few years. So today, as when Mr. Praveen Kumar asked me to come around, I actually was a bit. Do we need that? Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Hello. Is it good? Okay, all right. So, I had a small presentation that I'll quickly go through. I know you guys must be waiting for the next session, which even me too, right? I'm eagerly looking forward to that session, and I have a few questions. Let's see if they're intelligent enough. But let's get started. So I will give you a perspective of AI in this space, in this industry. Whatever little that I could cobble together, and I'm sure with more interactions I'll probably have a little bit more deeper insight to come out with, and probably you can also help me in terms of the areas where I missed in terms of projecting what AI can do, right? Okay, so from an AI perspective, or even otherwise, consumer and mobility and ecosystem, these are the three main entities, so called, right, which are disrupting this kind of e-mobility or in general mobility, right. So these are the three main aspects that we are focusing on when IBM is looking at from an AI solutioning or AI direction that we are looking at in the mobility center, this mobility industry. We are looking at these three, right, from a consumer perspective, from a mobility, the actual the vehicle perspective, and also the overall ecosystem, right? How do we help the ecosystem grow and make use of all of the AI capabilities and also digital capabilities, right? And this is something I learned today. So some of the top external forces for this particular e-mobility aspect is that, from a technology progress, most important one apparently, and this is actually a report by IBM, and I was reading up as people were speaking here, interestingly. This technology progress is the most important one, right? To be able to, that means what I'm saying is that as part of the ecosystem, you need to have these technology providers. In that sense, IBM is one of those, right? In the AI space, for example, it could be blockchain, it could be a number of things. That when I say technology, that's what I meant. Then you have the second factor that is driving this is actually consumer expectations, right? And then you have the government regulations, and then you have the personal mobility, the personalization aspect. These things constantly keep shifting and changing, but in the last 5 years, technology has been there at the top. Consumer used to be number 4, now it has moved to the second. So what I'm trying to say is that the value aspect that drives the industry towards that innovation, these are the factors that are affecting it. So some of the issues, again, I don't think I need to really talk about. I wanted to highlight in there the basic idea that what is driving the AI and how AI can help in some of these areas, right? In terms of, I don't even talk about all the issues that batteries have, right? There's a swapping issue, there is the life issue, there is the the duration issue, and so on and so forth, right? And then similarly, you have the infrastructure, which is more a government and kind of a play. There is power grid, balancing of the loads and so on, cost aspect of it. How do you reduce the cost from that perspective? And then of course overall collaboration. How do you have a manufacturer, an OEM, and an end user talk to each other with confidence, right? In terms of okay, he says this battery is 3 years old, and I'm going to be charged. So there's going to be this new way of even if you're talking about swaps, and especially if it is not a fleet system, right? If you're going at as an individual, if you are as an individual, if we are going to in the future use a EV and we are going to use swap batteries, then how do we know? We go there, and this is something that Professor Praveen Kumar highlighted to me, and I started reading into it. Is that when you take it, when you rent it from a place, it might say 100%, but how do you know it's going to last you for 100 kilometers, or is it going to last you for 10 kilometers, right? Depending upon the age and how often it was used, how badly it was used, it affects the capability of the battery. So in that sense, kind of having a shared ledger where you can actually see, oh, this is a 3-year-old battery,
I don't even know if batteries last that long, but let's say 3-month-old battery, it has been used 75 times, and these are the different parameters, the logs of data that show the peaks and whatnot in terms of how the battery was used. Then you can predictively say, hey, I'm not going to pay, basically a vendor will come out and say, based on this, there won't be a fixed price, is what I'm trying to say. You can kind of pick and choose and say, yeah, I don't have 20 rupees, so I only have 10 rupees in my pocket, so that battery is what I'll take, right? So that kind of predictive pricing will also be coming along. So I just wanted to throw that in terms of how AI plays into this space, right? So from an IBM perspective, and this is not just e-mobility, but generally in mobility, the 5 stages that we are looking at when we are talking to clients, when we are proposing solutions in terms of the maturity is, first is of course the foremost one, which is already pretty mature now, is driver assistance or consumer experience, right? In terms of how you drive, instead of having 150 buttons in like a airplane cockpit, you wanted to keep it simple, right? Like GM went in that direction, wherein they actually put in a system where if something goes wrong, I'll give you an example, right? For example, my wife drives a BMW, and as part of it, there is this knob where you have to, if there is a problem, you have to go in and you want to figure out how to solve that problem. There is a manual, but it takes you forever to get to that. So GM has kind of solved that problem. They use Watson in that, IBM Watson, wherein you just say, hey, I see this light that has come up. I don't know what to do with it. What is it, right? What should I do next? You even talk to the system, and the system answers. The car basically talks back to you. I don't know if you're old enough, but when I was young, there used to be this this TV program where you talk to this guy talked to the car. I forget the name of the program, but none of you guys were probably born around that time. But yeah, in the 80s, it was, as a kid, I used to watch this where he would talk to the car, and it used to feel like, that's never going to happen, it's just fantasy, right? But here we are, right? GM is already providing that capability where you can talk to the car and ask for it. Hey, I want to go for and there's a nice little video, you can look it up online, and I probably can share it as well, which talks about how you ask it, hey, I want to go here. It tells you predictively, saying that you need to get your servicing done, or I see that you're going from point A to point B. In the middle, there is this so and so. If I can just reroute you, you can pick it up and it will save you fuel. So these kind of things, it's as if you're talking to a secretary, right? It's an assistant who is helping you as you live along in your daily lives, right? Maruti is a big win in India, where they are using IBM Watson IoT solutions for both consumer experience as well as connected car. So now they can use this to also understand what I have termed it. I don't know if other people have seen it. So far I haven't. Maybe I need to copyright it. What I call as know your car or know your driver, right? So wherein you can sense, okay, how does Kiran actually drive this car? Because all the data goes back to the server. You can get a sense of what kind of a driver he is. And actually this is something that is used in the US for insurance purposes. But anyway, I'm digressing. But the point is that you have a lot of data, and you need to be able to use that to even predict and tell you in terms of maintenance, in terms of service, in terms of all of these factors that come into play, and all of this can be done using AI, right? Honda is in India again, is another connected car solution that they have put in as part of their vehicles, right? And then from an autonomous vehicles perspective, I don't know if you heard of it. Ollie is a small company out of Florida, I believe, where they have built a minibus that is completely self-driven, and it uses Watson for all kinds of stuff. When you board into the bus, it will ask you for certain information, and then it knows about you, and then it tells you where you're going, and it can learn from your usage pattern. If you constantly go up and say, oh, I'm going from point A to point B to point C, then it kind of learns from that, and next time you get in, it'll ask you, kind of predict, say that, oh, you're going to this particular point. So then those kind of stuff, right? That's a very simplistic one, but I'm just saying there's a whole bunch of things that it can do. Of course, most important today, the topic is e-mobility. I have a few things that I can talk about in terms of AI there, but the eventual goal, I guess, and this is just my belief, is that in the longer term, I think, and the younger generation, you guys, and it's pretty prevalent in the US already. The younger generation is not looking to buy things, right? They are looking to rent, they are looking to use and move on to a next item, right? So I think vehicles also will go in that direction. We'll go away from my father's time where people used to use a lot more public transport to my time where we have a lot of personal vehicles, and I think we'll go back to full circle to that kind of a model where it will be a lot of shared mobility. So that means, we talked about Dr. Seshu talking about how as an OEM they are providing buses to cities, right? So they are taking care of it end to end, the whole cost. He was saying about how he had a difficult time this morning. I don't know if you remember talking about how he had to convince his board in terms of instead of people buying buses from them, which is the normal model, commercial model that they have, the cities are saying, I don't care, I'm just going to pay you 5 rupees per kilometer or whatnot, right? Or this many people when they get in, this is what I'm going to pay you, correct? So this is a model that has hit IBM as well, right? If the whole SaaS model, that the cloud model that has come in, IBM used to sell all these big boxes and make a lot of money, right? And now it's actually not just, I see that, okay, it's not just IBM, there are other industries also being affected now. So this AAS model, as a service model, is now going into every aspect of the industry. Again, sorry, I'm digressing. Okay, so from quickly to show you nothing that you guys don't know, but driver assistance, it's all about telling, it could also be about, as I gave you that example of, where you're talking to a system as it is telling you what to do and what not to do. It could also be a, what you see here in the image here in the middle there, where it is helping you avoid accidents, right? Maybe it can, if it sees some irregular pattern in how you're driving, it kind of helps you. If it sees you, moving off the road, it helps you. But of course, in India, I don't know how that's going to happen because we constantly go around all the way, right? So I don't know how that will work, and that's why I think autonomous vehicle, if an autonomous vehicle can drive in India, I think that's the greatest algorithm ever, right? So, and there's a whole bunch of these kind of things. What you see at the bottom right, I don't know if you can actually see it, but just assume that there's a lot of good stuff there. So that's all the sensors that you have, and which is quite a lot of cars are getting it. If you go in an aeroplane, for example, aeroplane will have tens of thousands of sensors, right? So and interestingly, when I was working with a railroad company in the US, they also have a lot of sensors, and cars are also getting a lot of sensors, right? And these kind of sensors help detect other vehicles, detect your movement, detect any wear and tear, everything, right? We detect your fuel usage, and accordingly it comes back with the data, and this data you can even, it is slowly coming in. Like I bought an OBD device. You guys know what an OBD is, right? Onboard display, where you can, it kind of captures all this data and then it pushes into the cloud. So that then I go and run analysis. So what I do is I then run my own analysis. I'm storing it in my, in my server that I have there that I bought, and I run analytics on top of it. So the idea here is that lot of the OEMs will start doing that, where they will use all of this information to be able to understand the patterns and how that is. And in terms of, and it not only helps them, but it also helps, for example, a government, right? So when, let's say you see cars going in a certain area, using GPS you can narrow down the area, and then if you see a lot of vibrations, right, that means there are a lot of bumps there. So now that automatically you can figure out that, okay, that something needs to be fixed there. Secondly, more importantly, I think for traffic kind of management, right? So if you see a lot of vehicles going slow in a particular area, then you get, Google does it already to a certain extent, but if you want to do it at even more higher accuracy, if you are able to do that, then you can figure out, there's something called as, I think it's a green channel, wherein the way you can manage is that if you see that in a particular stretch of road, a lot of vehicles are coming in that stretch at that particular time, you can then build an algorithm that will then try to give them complete greens, right? Depending upon what is the important road and the number of vehicles going in that, it will give you, that is called as like the green channel, right? It will give you all the way till up to a certain point of it. It will give you green signals and it times it in that way. So instead of that, currently what we have in India is a timer mechanism, right? If you go to outside India, a lot of them have sensor based as well. Depending upon how many vehicles have come, it will automatically switch. But this is the future where it actually detects number of vehicles not by sensors but actually through a cloud based system. So there's a whole bunch of other activities in terms of intelligent transportation systems, and this is what one of them what I talked about is that green channel thing, right? So from a use case perspective, yes, 5 more minutes, perfect, I should be done. So from a use case perspective, there's a bunch of use cases, and honestly, as I was sitting and listening to the people that were talking earlier, I came up with quite a number of these use cases myself, right? So there's, you know, driver convenience, we talked about it. There's traffic management, you know, the green wave. Did I say green channel? Yeah, that's green wave. Fleet management, you know, distributed ledger technology. We talked about the battery, right? Where you want to know, you know, how often this battery was used and so on, right? For the cars, for the vehicle, for the EVs. So, and then car manufacturer, we talked about know your car or know your driver. Then there is, you know, if you want to do innovations, if you want to run some simulations, which what ANSYS kind of helps you with, you will be using AI. They are already using AI in that sense, right? Then of course infrastructure management and also financing, right? Financing is a crucial aspect that a lot of people miss out on, and I think couple speakers actually hit upon it. Is that you, without the proper government, you know, subsidies or funding, somebody talked about HDFC funding some aspects of it, I don't think this can be pushed at the level that we want it to be. So from AI technologies that are playing a major role here, you have the conversational systems, I talked about it, driver assistance, big data systems, right, machine learning DL models, DL as in deep learning models that have been built. Natural language processing, if you're looking at data, if you're tweeting about a traffic jam or something, if you can use that to be able to understand. Blockchain, we talked about the distributed ledger, and of course, you know, things like predictive maintenance, which probably falls under the MLDL models. So I had a video, but I'll skip that. That itself takes a couple minutes, I think 3 minutes. But if you are interested, you can look up Olli, O-L-L-I, on YouTube, and then there's a nice video that talks about this self-driven car. Yeah, so the way what IBM does in this space, so we have 3 main platforms, the Watson IoT platform, we have the IBM blockchain for the distributed ledger, and then we have, and then, you know, the big thing is that if you're looking at a macro level, you want to be able to build a system that you can use to govern all these different ecosystem entities, right? So we have that, you know, centralized command center kind of technology which can put all of these together. Yeah, so there's, for you, if you want to learn more about these things, I've provided you know, a few links here, you can go and read it. But generally how this is not really for you guys, but, you know, companies and clients, how they get started is we actually encourage them to learn a little bit more about what these technologies are. Then we go and do a one-on-one presentation, and then finally we do what is called as an IBM Cloud Garage, where we work with them, start building, identifying use cases, design thinking process and everything, and then we finally implement a pilot or a POC. So yeah, that's it. So I know it was really quick, but I hope you got some sense on what AI can do in this space. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kiran. Indeed, AI and its growing influence in our lives, as we can see them.
Yeah.
Alexa being the quite popular one.
It's a competitor. I don't want to talk about Alexa.
Yes. So on that note, I would like to thank you once again on behalf of the organizers, and I would like to request my colleague, Mr. Avinash Bhakre, to felicitate Kiran, please. that brings us to the next program in today's agenda, and that is the panel discussion. I would like to invite on stage Mr. Ayush Lohia, Mr. K.N.S. Acharya, Mr. Harshad Karve, and Mr. Abhinandan Kumar to please take the seat on the stage. Thank you. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for participating in the panel discussion. And over the next half an hour to 45 minutes or so, we will have the discussion, which will also include an interactive session with the audience. So in case you have any questions, please note them down, and towards the end of the panel discussion, we'll take the questions from the floor. Let me start off by asking a question to the sole OEM representative in the panel today, and who has really actually seen the evolution of the electric vehicle industry in India, so to speak, especially in the 2- and 3-wheeler segments. So Ayush, what is the current status of the electric vehicle industry in India, particularly in the 2- and 3-wheeler segments, which are seen, as you mentioned, are also the low-hanging fruits? And are we at a level which is satisfactory? If not, why so? And if yes, where do you go next?
So the question comes is how you get satisfactory. When you see a comparison to the industry, automotive industry, where we stand right now, as compared to IEC and electric, we stand nowhere. But if you compare what is the progress, what we have seen over last a year or so, it has been a dramatic change. Frankly speaking, 1 year back, no one was interested to talk about electric vehicle. But since almost 1.25 year, we see every spare, every company, every supplier, like tier 1 suppliers, everyone is talking about it. Now we have companies, big companies, international companies are talking about electric vehicles in India. We have companies from IBM, we have companies from different level who are working at different stages. So this change is definitely very positive, but it's a long way to go. So it's a starting point what we can see. People are taking interest, students are taking interest because they are the future who can create new technologies, create new ecosystem on that front. And then we have suppliers who are backbone with the complete backhand and front-hand operations, and definitely OEMs. Big OEMs are working on it, talking about it from last 1 year, whether you talk about Maruti, Toyota, Mahindra is already there, Ashok Leyland is there. So big companies are talking about it, and they are now starting and trying to shift their focus. Being they are so big, it takes time for them to react. But I can definitely say these are big ships, big Titanic ships who are now shifting themselves towards electric vehicle. They are making a focus, and you need not to forget that electric vehicle or any vehicle for that matter, the gestation period for a vehicle to come on road is almost 3 to 5 years. And here we are talking about new technologies. So time will definitely be required, but I can foresee that the change will happen very fast.
And here Dr. Praveen Kumar, if you can also join us, because there is also an aspect of industry-academia collaboration. I missed mentioning you, so I have a couple of questions for you as well. Abhinandan, Hero Electric, you are the leading player in the two-wheeler segment, and you have recently made shift from lead acid to lithium. Have you and as you have also mentioned, because of the withdrawal of this incentives, there has been also a dip in the market. Along with that, and with the rise in prices because of the technology evolution, what kind of hurdles are you witnessing, and is it a long-term, do you see it as a short-term hurdle, or do you think it will impact a market in the long term as well?
Hello. See, it's about the government subsidy and incentive. Definitely, when it's is being given to the market and companies and customers, boom is definitely coming. But once it is taken back, obviously there is some negativity in the market, it going down. But this year, what you would like to tell from the Hero Electric, we were fully ready that government will withdraw the entire subsidy. We are not going to affected. Neither our customer will be affected. Industry or any company has to think 5 or 10 years ahead. So since then, 3 years back, we started thinking about the lithium-ion product, and on that, we started working on the entry-level segment. So as of now, you can see the price point of view. The customer has the first thing, the price point. So as a Hero Electric has the ready product, and we are selling since last 2.5 years to the entire India on the various range of a product in lithium-ion technology with the high speed, which may replace the IC engines also. So from the customer point of view, there are three major things I would like to say that concern. That if vehicle, I'm running electric vehicle, and after 60, 80 or 100 kilometer, the battery will consume what I will do. That we were talking since the morning that the battery rental scheme and charging point infrastructure. But for that point of view, it is also it is also being addressed, and see, like internal system. See, none of the customer do. I mean, only 10% customer will travel 100 kilometer on daily basis, or even once in a week. But majority of the customer do travel 20, 25 kilometer, 30 kilometer, or 40 kilometer per day. So that is into the city only, in city only. Average speed of the city of the India is about 12 to 15 kilometers. So customer concern was the गाड़ी तो 35 kilometers से ऊपर जाएगी नहीं. That is also addressed. The second was main important, that what if the battery will consume. So for that company has fitted the digital technology into the system that you can check out the fuel meter, how long you have to go, and you can charge it anywhere. Just like a mobile being charged, the battery vehicle will be charged. There's a small charger, it can be carried into the vehicle only. So that concern is also over. So I do not think any big hurdle as of now it is. It was big hurdle is financing schemes. Every customer, either he has to take the vehicle on full cash cost, still he is looking for the financing. So that also it is being addressed, and I do not believe any big hurdles is coming. That company an industry is growing in double fold, but in coming time it will be more.
What percentage of the industry is currently financed now?
It's just about 3 months back has started. Okay. So percentage will come in another 3 months.
Okay. Mr. Acharya, a question for you. You touched upon industry academia collaboration. There are examples, but few and far between in India. How can that be accelerated? And in terms of when it comes to electric mobility, or for that matter, any of the mega trends, autonomous driving included, where the industry is entering a learning phase collectively, do you think the scope, the case becomes that much stronger for industry academic collaborations? And how should the stakeholders go about it?
Yeah. Thanks, Sumanta, for a very nice question. So I want to put this solution in 2 or 3 parts. Number one, the industry academia collaboration has been spoken for many, many years now. You take last 30, 40 years, there are many publications have come in, conferences have been set up, etc., etc. Look at, if we look at India as a an education hub with the industry. I don't think we have one strong example whereby, look at, for example, what Boeing is doing with University of Washington, what Iowa State is doing with General Motors. You don't have such strong collaboration with industry and academia where they are able to bring out an industry-aligned, either a bachelor's degree program or a master's degree program. We don't have a classic example. Industry is working in isolation. Universities are doing their research in collaboration with industry, but it is not getting flown back into education as such, right? Now, it's very difficult to point fingers at who is at fault. Now, the way that I see is looking at the electric vehicle and the rapid changes that are happening in the automotive industry. The only way premier institutions like IITs must do, this is where I would request Professor Praveen Kumar also to come forward and make a stake at the university level, is can industry and academia co-create content for the benefit of both industry as well as academia. Now, for example, there are multiple industries in India. The number of employees in these organizations is nearly about 65 to 70% of the organizations have employees who are just undergraduates. They've just completed their degree and they've joined industry. And for various reasons, they had some cash crunch and they wanted to start with their career, etc. Just soon after 2 years or 3 years, I have seen they have started realizing that, oh, I should have done my master's. Now, doing a master's in the industry and without a proper recognition from a premier institution like an IIT or NIT, etc., we don't have an ecosystem where industry and academia can co-create that kind of a content. Now, especially in the automotive segment, just show me one example where, be it automotive electronics or e-powertrain or entire electric mobility, we don't have a content which is industry created or a industry and academia co-created content. Some of you must have heard about Udacity. Udacity is a program which has been now become extremely popular and well accepted by the industry. Why? Because that program has been created by companies like Mercedes-Benz and BMW, and the subject matter experts from that industry, they have created the entire content. Such content could have been beautifully created. We still have an opportunity. It can be co-created with the Indian academia. And if that can become formal education within the university and also give an opportunity for industry people to take up those kind of courses, I think it's a win-win for both industry as well as academia, and we will have the talent demand in this country in this space is going to quadruple. And we are not ready yet. Honestly, we are not ready yet. Look at I think Professor Bhalat spoke about power electronics, and we are in need about 500 power electronics engineers. KPIT. We are in need about 500 power electronics engineers. I am hunting around.
You have not found them.
I am hunting around. And we get them, they are in minuscule. They are minuscule. And when they come with a very pure background from either only motor-related technologies, they don't know where to apply allied areas. So if all the constituents for electric vehicle technologies can come together, the software, the electronic, and the motor controls, control systems, everything can come together. I think we have a huge talent demand, both from a local market, India perspective, as well as for a global market. And the stage is now set for Indian academia to also to shed their, I may look a bit arrogant, but shed their ego and work with the industry for a co-creation. We haven't done that. I think we have a huge opportunity.
Great, thank you. Harshad, you wanted to add?
I just want to add to that ANSYS has been working with Cummins Women's Engineering College, and we have created a center of excellence there. So I think what Mr. Acharya is pointing out is that we need a very concerted effort where in a particular university we are creating such a center of excellence. So if a student goes through that program, then he's industry ready from an electrification standpoint. Those are the things that Boeing and others, GM have done. We don't have any such thing so far.
And you have 500 engineers in which field you were looking at?
Power electronics.
Power electronics. So, Dr. Kumar, you have been in the industry earlier. You've been on both sides of the fence. And a challenge like for Mr. Acharya, what he's facing, how can that be addressed? And in your case, how are you ensuring that this isolation, this working in islands, do not happen, and there is more of industry-academic collaboration?
Yeah, well, we are trying to address this issue, and one of the biggest example is the work that we initiated here in IIT Guwahati in our lab. So there are a couple of points which we have to pay attention to. Recently, we went through the curriculum revision of all the courses in IIT Guwahati. Okay. Now, bringing in industry-oriented courses in that revision, which is a huge committee of many people, is not really feasible. So what we did that, okay, we'll start from the highest degree that we gave, the PhD programs, because they can be easily tailor-made and can be made in such a way that the outcome is more industry relevant. That's point number one. The other point that we also have to see is that for any academia industry collaboration to be successful, there has to be a relaxed attitude from both the industry as well as from the academia, in the sense that industry should not be too stringent on non-disclosure agreements and so on. The problem should not be on a specific industry product, because then you are bound by all NDAs. Okay, they should be more towards the technology which would be coming in the market maybe 5 years or 10 years down the line over a longer time frame. So these are the two things. Unless we address them, bringing industry-oriented courses into academia will become very difficult. So, and then also at academia, we have to work very hard to create very strong IP cells. We need to sensitize students that what is ethically allowed and what is not whenever you work on industry projects, because some information can be sensitive, so you can't be careless with that. So we have to make them aware of those issues before we start to take more sensitive projects from the industry. Because we can take some, but due to carelessness, sheer out of carelessness, no bad intent behind that, okay, things might go out, which might be harmful for the collaborating companies. So all those things have to come in place, and we are trying very hard. But at least, one good thing that you said, there is a need for 500 power electronics engineer. You are not able to find them. This is precisely what I said to especially our EEE students on last week when they were doing their MTech project presentations. And I said that nothing in this world is more important than honesty and hard work. Okay? Anyway, this message our parents never gave, because whenever you talk to the parents, oh, hamara bacha to padhta nahi hai, number aa gaye, pata nahi kaise. All my life I worked very hard and still couldn't do much, but nowadays children don't study and parents hide that they are not working hard. So I don't know why this thing. We should celebrate hard work. What's wrong in that? It's not a wrong thing to work hard. So that message has never come down. So still students follow that mode that, okay, how can I get something done with the least effort? So that doesn't help. That doesn't help anyone. So even those things also have to be brought into picture. And when all the industry experts talk, I always insist that please showcase that how much of hard work has gone into making a two-wheeler or an e-rickshaw or a bus or whatever it is. I mean, it's a lot of hard work, a lot of failures, a lot of toil, and then something comes out, so that they get the right message that there's no substitute for the hard work that we have to actually put in. So at multiple levels, we'll have to do that.
I'd like to add here one small point. In fact, I was discussing with Professor Praveen also, like a little while ago also. The most important thing to address the industry concern that you don't find people for electronics, electrical, power electronics. I think we need to change and sensitize the upcoming students very clearly that we are talking about an industry shift. A shift where it was, till now it was mechanically driven. Now we are talking about electronics driven industry. And we don't have students, we don't have people who have know-how or knowledge, or forget about, we don't have people with the basic knowledge also. So I was talking about Professor Praveen just a while ago, like we need to start doing PR among students who are just entering into 10th and 11th. Rather than they should focus on mechanical engineering, they should now talk about electronics, electrical and power electronics, this division, because I think, I don't know have the exact numbers, but I am sure that the misbalance between mechanical and electrical and electronics, and if you see these two streams altogether, is a huge imbalance. We find 90% of the people from mechanical background, at least I think 10% from electrical electronic background. So that imbalance need to be corrected, and that has to be seeded now from the students who are just entering into a 11th class stream, so that once they start thought process on that stream, they will come to a level after 3 to 4 years, 5 years, that they will be talking, we will have some basic batches for electronics, electrical side. So that kind of seeding has to be done, and I think we should take a step forward in that area also.
I think that will also contribute to building the ecosystem.
Yes.
You wanted to add something.
I agree with Professor Praveen. Only small difference there is, if we start from top down, like say from the PhD and the research area, collaborations, etc., I completely agree that that's an area where you need to really work towards IP, confidentiality and other things. And that is a minuscule in terms of the manpower need for the country. The number of PhDs in any company you take is less than 2%. Now, what I'm talking about is the ground up bachelors as well as the masters, about 300, 400 power electronics guys, we are not able to find. Now, the compromise what we are trying to do is get some good electronics guys, and we have set up a university within the company, which we should not be doing. We have set up a university within the company to train them on electric technologies, software, model-based design, MATLAB, Simulink, ANSYS, which is not our job. We have a job to do in terms of software development for our customers and etc. But we are forced to do it. This is where I'm saying, if IITs and the premier institutions focus only on the research, then I think the manpower development part is actually falling apart, is my view, right? That is one. And I touch upon the mechanical and other parts that you mentioned. I think the area between mechanical or software or electrical or electronics is completely fading away. There is a dearth of engineers who are extremely interdisciplinary today. In fact, I come from a mechanical engineering background, but I did a master's from IIT Bombay in controls, then went into software, then into avionics, then into mechanical, aerostructures. So if you travel through multiple industries, there is nothing like you are an engineer. In my view, you are an engineer. You should have your ability to switch from one industry to another industry. That is the need of the day today. Even we take engineers with electronics and software background, but we train them on mechanical. But if we take mechanical engineers and reverse train them on software, that takes more time. So we take electrical and electronics and software guys, and we train them on the domain knowledge of the vehicles and so on. That is giving us good results so far. So all in all, I would say interdisciplinary engineering is the one which will take us to a much larger, and next 10 to 15 years is going to be of that world, is what is my opinion.
Arshad, as an engineer, what do you have?
Yes, so this message resonates extremely well with us. I mean, these are constant debates we are having, because as I speak, people in my team are our users, ANSYS users. So we are having electronics background people using our ANSYS electronics desktop. But because all electronics is becoming more compact and heats up and results into thermal failure, we are asking them to do thermal analysis, and they don't know anything about fluid mechanics, but we are building that intelligence into the electronics desktop so they can do it. So there is nothing like all these streams are really blur. Even the industries are blur. I have seen slides in the industry 4.0. They're talking about that there is no real distinction between automotive. When Google is doing automotive autonomous vehicle, there is no real distinction between who is a computer company versus who is a automotive. It's all becoming very blur because of smart products. Every product has a mechanical component, an electronic component embedded software, so it's all together. So I almost feel that the whole bachelor's portion should be just produce engineers, not really mechanical or electronics engineering, and then the specialization can be afterwards.
And Ayush, I have to ask you one question. Since we are sitting here in IIT in Guwahati, and part of the theme is opportunities in the Northeast, and as you may, I mean, I'm sure you are already selling your products here. It's a big or emerging e-rickshaw market. How do you see Northeast as a market for electric vehicles?
Frankly speaking, if you see, I will not treat this market as a virgin market because already presence is there. But the kind of vehicles what we offer right now, or the kind of industry it is evolving till now, if you see, we are on a very basic level of a product.
Okay.
Whether you talk about a two-wheeler or a three-wheeler. The basic challenge what we face is with areas in Northeast, we have huge pockets which is the hilly area, Tarian and all those kind of challenges. With those, the vehicle what we have currently in portfolio, we don't have portfolio to cater to that need. So the industry size or the areas left for us is very less in Northeast area. So from that perspective, we are not very strongly present in this part of Northeast India, but definitely potential with the kind of product what we anticipate to bring down the line. Northeast will be definitely one important market for us in coming time.
And do you plan to expand your portfolio beyond 2 and 3 wheelers?
No, right now our complete focus is on two wheelers and three wheelers. As I said, I shared in the afternoon also, we are talking about 85% of the total automotive market. That is huge. So if I can cater even few percent in that number also, is substantial enough to.
And do you see a need for any kind of alliances for, say, licensing or technology?
Definitely yes, technology alliances are required to grow faster because rather than to reach to a level, because as I shared earlier also, automotive product development has a gestation cycle of 3 to 5 years. Being engine is not there, you can bring it to 3 years, but still a cycle has to be completed. You need to validate the product, do the testing, and hell lot of amount of money and brain and technology goes into a product development. So if you can get alliance with any kind of technology which we are already tied up with, a consortium putting together IIT Guwahati, some other institutes, NFT, DC and everything. So we can definitely get an edge, develop product faster, and we can be on top of the product rather than talking about an outdated technology working on it. We get a hands-on on technology which is updated, new and futuristic. So those areas can definitely help us in penetrating the market better, where you have companies like Hero, Piaggio, Bajaj, who are spending hell lot of money in R&D and all those areas. So we definitely have challenges on that front, being the size of the organization is concerned. But definitely technological alliances will help us on that, and that's why we look for those kind of alliances.
And Dr. Kumar, if I have to ask you, he spoke from a OEM perspective. From an engineering perspective, could this region become a kind of a key part of this overall national ecosystem for electric mobility?
I think definitely yes, because this is a technology in which there are no clear leaders yet. So it's an open field. So northeast of India definitely has an advantage because the concentration of educational institutions is very high in this region. So if we just do a proper curriculum review and start to train people, so this area can become a manufacturing hub and also cater to the needs of Southeast Asia, because there is a good road link which is being established. So the things can be transported over land rather than via the sea route, which takes longer time, or even the railway connections can be put up between the Southeast Asian countries, and which matches with the look east policy of the government since last 5-10 years. So I think the potential is there, but yes, until unless we act, then we would always have the potential. We need to convert the potential into action. That's what I
believe in. Great. On that note, we we come to the section where we'll take questions from the audience. If you have any questions, please raise your hand and introduce yourself, and who is the question for? Yes, please. You'll have to be a little loud from there.
Myself, Dr. Arun from MNIT Jaipur. Actually, I'm working on those EV chargers. We are planning, or we are already going on for a compact and efficient charger. And I mean, the industry people who are sitting over here, I just want to know from their side that what exactly their problems are, or if you can provide the solution. That is something
We had mentioned in your presentation that the failure of chargers, right?
No, not me.
You mentioned, yeah. So maybe you want to take that question?
Yeah, we are working on both wireless. Already we have developed one wireless charger, but distance is not much. These are hardly 150 mm, something we have reached.
See, actually, from technical point of view, I'm not the right person, but from the basic things I would like to tell you, and earlier also we have discussed. See, because of the climate conditions, the chargers are being made in China. In India, when it comes and being used at the 40 plus 4-degree temperatures, it is being drastically failed. Plus, because of the voltage fluctuation also, the 20 to 25% of chargers being failed. So from that point of view, there is one company in Hyderabad, they are producing a charger and selling it, but the cost point of view is very high, almost 2.5 times than what we used to buy from the other country. So from that point of view, we have to think agar वैसा charger we can produce here, that can be, fit into the vehicle and can be cost conscious. So the company is looking forward. Even you can see 70% of the item is being manufactured in India. For the two-wheeler, I would like to, not for the three-wheeler, but the 30% item which is being from the China or Taiwan or other country is the costliest item. Even we have started manufacturing. The OEM, we got an OEM. They are producing chassis as well. But they are not much attentive. Because of that, they are not able to supply the enough number of quantity. So from the OEM point of view, they do have also to think from that this business is very serious business, and the demand is growing very fastly. So company plus OEM plus government plus external things, external forces, everyone has to be ready for that.
While doing all these work in our laboratory, I faced one problem actually, that we didn't find a lithium-ion battery for a traction purpose, that is generally 360 volt or 12 amp. I struggled a lot. I approached so many people all across India, but ultimately I have to end up with a lead-acid battery for my experiment, not the lithium-ion. So this is also, if industry people can help in that also.
Okay, so taking both the questions on that front, as far as the charger testing parameters and everything is concerned, the way how it need to be, he has definitely pointed to important areas where reasons of failure of the chargers. But the question doesn't lie how you can produce the right charger and what parameters you need to take into effect. The question which lies here is, are your charger compatible enough to cater to the different kind of battery requirements what we have in the market? Apart from a basic difference of lead acid and lithium ion battery, the major challenge you will find that in lead acid batteries also you have multiple companies who has a different kind of topography and the structure, chemical composition from the positive side and negatives, on the batteries. So what you need to take care on that front is the charging cycle at which it should match and it should give us a best result. So on that basis only, because a charger which is not that expensive as compared to a battery, but a charger has a capacity to spoil the complete battery. So we need to be more careful on that front, and that is why people say that because it doesn't compatible with the battery, and if it doesn't merge well with the battery, then the charger will not be a culprit. It will always be a battery as a culprit. So that is more area need to be taken care of, right? And as far as when you talk about the voltage system and what kind of amperage you need to require, you need to look into the kind of area you are getting into. When you talk about two-wheelers and three-wheelers, the industry in India majorly is on a 48 volt system, and they are running, when we talk about a two-wheeler, it is always between 20 ampere to 30 or 40, 35 ampere system battery pack. But when you talk about a three-wheeler, it is between 100 and 220 ampere hour system. So definitely for these two areas, if you talk about, you can definitely go between 3 to 5 ampere with a 7 to 8 hours charging cycle, and then 6 to 8 hour cycle charging. And for a three-wheeler, you can talk about anywhere, if you are using a 15 amp system, you can talk about again the same timeline. So that is the standardization you have to see from the perspective of a OEM, from the perspective of what is there in the market. But when you talk about a high voltage system, I frankly speaking don't know anyone in India right now who is talking about in two-wheeler and three-wheeler segment, apart from Ather, who is talking about 72 volt system. In three-wheeler, I don't know anyone who is working on apart from 48 volt system. Yeah, yes. So that's what I'm saying. So definitely buses and cars, they have a different system. So every OEM is working on our own platform, own requirements as far as charger is concerned. Then you have to vary your requirement or development as per the OEM need. So that is something you have to check with the OEM individually. You can't have an destination there. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Basically, we are developing a kit for M1 category vehicles, and we have been searching for the open issue and based on the AutoSAR platform, and it's very difficult and almost impossible to find in India. Since you have shown in your slide that you are working in AutoSAR platform, can you please elaborate on that, or can you provide some help?
Yeah. So to work with academia, what we have done is KPIT has its own platform for AutoSAR. We have the entire stack of AutoSAR tools. Now, for the sake of enabling institutions to work on automotive, the AutoSAR technology, right, whether it is an MCAL layer or any other layer, we have come up with a certain set of licenses. Our tool is called KSAR, which is an AutoSAR-based platform. We can provide certain student licenses or faculty licenses which they can try it out in their labs for the sake of experimentation, right from developing certain AutoSAR compliant software, as well as develop certain integration solutions. So if you are in hardware ECUs, see, low-cost ECUs are available in the market. Right, low-cost ECUs are available in the market. KPIT, we don't. Most of the ECUs that we work with, they are all our OEM provided. We don't make any ECUs because our solutions are ought to be ported onto our customer ECUs, right? There are certain general-purpose ECUs which are available in the market. You can buy those ECUs. Probably I can send you some details on those general-purpose ECUs, and AutoSAR, our KSAR tool, we can provide to some of the institutions as a student license. We can do that.
And is it deployable on the product level?
Yes, it is.
Okay, we have time for maybe one last question, if there is any. Or is that a signal? Is that no? Okay. Kiran, you said you had some questions.
There is a gentleman. Yeah, if I can ask, unless.
Yeah, anyone?
One person on that side.
Yes. Yeah, please. You have to be loud.
Basically, everyone's talking about electric mobility, but today we heard Dr. Bala making a strong statement for hybrids, even despite the fact that the government of India has not given its emphasis on not have lithium ion. At the end of the day, even if we go 100% electric, we are going to import. So how do you see this challenge? And just a small second question would be to adding on to this. With adoption of electric mobility, you will require a higher skill set of individuals who can service this vehicles. As a result, most of the mechanical jobs that are being addressed by the local stakeholders or vendors are by the unorganized sector. So 60 to 70%, if my ratio is correct, is by vehicles serviced are by the unorganized sector. So how do you see that impact?
Professor Acharya, since KPIT has dabbled with both hybrid with your revolver system and then now with the full electric, I'll take
So it's a very difficult question to answer. Reason being, I'll give you some anecdotal historical examples of how we went through this journey. So way back in 2009, much before the hybrid or electric vehicle technology started maturing, we had invested in a product called Revolo, and to the tune that 2009 all the way up to 2014-15, we brought the entire hybrid vehicle solution to a very much level of maturity. But we could not get the product certified at the government level because government said, I don't know how to certify your product. Right? Because they didn't know all the rules and regulations and etc. Right? Finally, we had to work with ARAI as to, we wrote the specification for how to certify our product and somebody else has to certify our product. It came to that stage. So jointly working with ARAI right up to the homologation stage, we wrote down all the specifications of how to certify a hybrid vehicle hybrid product. We got it done, but by that time, the market had actually moved on to the electric vehicle, right? So we were in a catch-up game. So by the time we had our product ready, most of our customers started asking KPIT, no, keep your product, Revolo product aside. Now tell me, can you work with me on an electric vehicle technology? So we had to go from a four-wheel car segment of hybrid vehicle into a bus segment of electric vehicle. So within about, fortunately, all the investment that we had made in hybrid vehicle solutions, we had the technology, we had the people, we had the know-how. We were able to, within just 3 years, we could able to produce the mini bus, not even the big bus, mini bus solution for electric vehicle. That is how, what you saw in my picture, we were able to quickly put together a product which we could demonstrate, and today we are working with iShare to commercialize that, right? Now, if you ask us from a KPIT, are we ready for both hybrid as well as electric? Answer is yes. But from a market perspective, we see that more than the hybrid, there is a significant pull for the electric vehicles, both from India market as well as for our in Malaysia and even in South Africa, and especially in European market, there is a big boom more towards electric vehicle rather than hybrid vehicles. That is where our energy is going.
Yes, Kiran, any question?
This is, I guess, I don't know who the question should go to. You guys can figure out. So one of the things I was reading about is that China is pretty much the battery market. They are, buying out these mines or whatever, where the raw material for building the batteries is being, where it can be mined in Australia, in Africa, and so on. Considering that, and considering their lead that they have in the technology, do you see this being a huge, it's like this old case of the petroleum OPEC countries kind of managing the oil price, that level of issue in terms of the batteries?
Ayush, you want to take that?
Again, this is completely a demand and a supply question. You can definitely foresee, maybe it can happen, may not be it can happen. That's why, I remember we have definitely talked about different kind of chemical composition or the different kind of chemistries which are getting involved in battery technology. Yes, that is a severe challenge. What he was also asking the question on the same line, that we are offsetting our oil import with the battery raw material import. So, but if you see from an electric vehicle enthusiastic perspective, I am very hopeful that technology is going to be evolved very soon as far as different chemical composition apart from lithium is concerned. We have been, I am reading a lot of papers, news, articles as far as magnesium based battery specs also, and different other chemical composition of battery which will going to evolve in next 3 to 5 years. They are already under testing stages. Once those testing stages are clear at international level, the mass production can be started. So that is the sole reason why who have already invested or going to invest are going to invest on a scale where they can switch from multiple chemical compositions and come to a level where it doesn't affect them much on a longer perspective. But definitely the question will remain the same. Whether the price effectiveness, what we are talking about by 2025 of reaching to a level of $125 per kilowatt hour, will be sustained for a longer time or not. I am pretty hopeful that it will be, because China will not be the only country who is eyeing those assets or acquiring those mines. It is apart from China, it will be US, Australia, South Korea, Japan. Everyone will be looking at it, and it will be purely and purely demand and supply. What you see even in metals also. Take for instance iron. Cold roll sheet, HR sheets, all these iron goods have shot up prices like more than 20 to 30% in last 6 to 8 months. So it is purely a demand and supply game. I'll rather say it as a cartel. I'll rather say it's a demand and supply game. Nothing else apart from that. And the same thing will also happen in lithium-ion batteries. But the supply which is already in pipeline for lithium-ion batteries is huge, which is already there, which is going to be there, and as the demand will grow, the new supplies will come into this place. So I don't foresee any major challenge which will going to happen. We definitely has a challenge in one component. I remember in last 10 years was the permanent magnet, which is solely being owned by China. You don't find reserve apart from China. In that, I remember in 2010, the cost of permanent magnet shot up by more than 30-40 times, but it stabilized back because the amount of magnets which are used in the complete motor was only 10%, 15% of the total cost of the motor, 15-20% of the total cost of the motor. So the impact was not huge, but it was still substantial. But then it came back again to the median level or a sub-medium level. So I see that in lithium ion it will not be a cartel which will going to happen. It is more on the demand and supply side.
Yeah.
So Kiran, logically looking at this, today 95% of all transportation, right, or even more probably, is based on oil. And it's very unlikely that this will be entirely replaced with batteries. What is going to happen is that 2% right now will slowly increase in the next few years. And even when it reaches 60-40, if it so happens that all those countries who are producing that battery raw material start controlling it and the costs go up, then the whole penetration of electrification will slow down and people will keep using the diesel and petrol engines for a longer period because it's difficult to go there. So I don't think that we will get into that kind of a situation. Meanwhile, I think there'll be third or a fourth option as well, I hope.
Yeah, so it is at the end of the day, demand and supply will play an important role. Yes.
So on a very lighter note, this is a classical MBA question, right? Because it will be a complete shift of power from a fossil fuel to an electric vehicle. I think beyond the industry, beyond the consumer, there are many political pressures which are there globally, which will have a larger impact on which industry, which segment is going to stabilize when. 2025, is it too early, too late? We don't know. I think it's much beyond only the industry sourcing, etc. There are much bigger players in the political spectrum which will determine which lobby has to be governing what. Oil, you can see if oil prices go up and down, the havoc it creates in the financial markets we have seen. So I think that lobby is still very, very powerful in the auto industry, and I don't think, in my view, they will allow the dominance of the electric or hybrid vehicle to come from a 2% to a 25 or 30%. It will be apple carting their industry to a great extent. It will take quite a long time, as I see.
Great. I'll take the liberty of asking the last question. Dr. Praveen Kumar, in this context, the dependence of key raw materials which are not there in India. Permanent magnet is one example. This is where again, the research or academia can play a key role. How are you working on that front and as part of this whole electric mobility drive and this building this ecosystem?
Yeah, well, from the motors point of view, we have decided not to use permanent magnet motors, at least in our research. So they are all magnetless machines. So we are not dependent on magnets as such or on their imports. As far as batteries are concerned, a lot of good work is going on in new chemistries of batteries like sodium air batteries and so on. So if they come into picture, which will happen another 5-10 years down the line. So sodium is a metal which is plenty, and I think no country has shortage of it. So I think those kind of issues would be addressed by the research which is happening in this field. So I think, yeah, till that time, for the coming 10 years or so, how would we sustain the growth of EVs is one question with the just with the use of lithium-ion batteries. Maybe the growth won't be that much, I feel, in coming 10 years. But yeah, if we go the hybrid way, which I'm also a party to it, I also propagate that. So then I think the demand of the lithium-ion batteries would be much lesser, and at the same time we will be reducing our fossil fuel import bills. So that might be the first step that we should be taking in a more aggressive manner.
Great. On that note, we conclude this panel discussion, and I would like to thank all our panelists for sparing your time and being here, and for the audience. Thank you very much. Please, now we break for tea, so please. Oh yes, excuse me, there is an announcement for all the participants here. Please do collect your certificates before leaving the hall or leaving the venue. So you can have your tea and then collect it from